Stadium. Without further ado, here's my conversation with Mac from this morning. Well, it's always great to chat with our next guest. He is now in his 15th year, go figure, as Syracuse men's soccer head coach. He is Ian McIntyre. Mac, man, you've been doing it here a long time. What's it like to be getting into it here, about a month into it, going into year 15?
When you say 15, that sounds like a really long time, but no.
It does.
This time of year, it's always very special, and since preseason, last month's flown by.
I knew you had a lot of roster changeover this year, as you do a lot of years, because you have so many guys going on to great success at the professional level. Have you learned everyone's name yet? Because my goodness, I was looking this year versus last year, and there's not a lot of familiar names that you got running around in here.
Yeah, the name tags were very helpful first couple of weeks, and 13 freshmen and a lot of new faces. So it's been a lot of fun with that kind of energy, enthusiasm of having a young group, and we're getting better day by day.
That's really become more the norm, right, than a regular having to remake the roster on a year by year. How did you approach it this season, Mac, of transfers versus young freshmen? How did this year's roster come together for you?
I think we benefited as well from winning a national championship in 22. So a lot of these younger guys we got a lot of talent, a lot of academy guys that we kind of signed after the 22 season, and to finally get them here on campus. But as a result, a little bit younger across the board. But we've known this group for the last year. That they know each other very well. I think my staff's done a great job of integrating them into our program, so not quite as a veteran group as we perhaps have had over the last couple of years. And as you said, the success we've had in the last few years, we've had 6-7 guys move on to the pros each of the last 2 years. So when you do the math, you do need to kind of restock and reload the roster.
Yeah, it adds up to a full team plus some of guys that are playing professionally right now. Mac, it's now, you're going back 2 years to the title. Obviously, you had a bunch of great players before you won the title. I mean, you had plenty of guys playing on national teams and the pros and all that. You mentioned the young guys in recruiting. How did the reaction you guys got on the recruiting trail? How has that changed here in the last 2 years?
It was also a decision to invest in young players, and I thought it was a good chance for us to get a certain profile of player that was excited about the challenges of competing. And look, bottom line, when you win a national championship, no one's interested in rebuilding. It's putting together a group that can win a second star, and that's the challenge that we have here now. But it's a fantastic challenge. It's something that we embrace, and that's where our younger guys we've thrown a number of them into the deep end, and you have good days and some days that you have some slightly steeper learning curves. But I think the future is certainly bright for Syracuse soccer, and as I said, with every training session, every game, and the games are coming thick and fast, and now into our ACC schedule, that you find out a lot about your group based by that kind of having that competitive cauldron.
We'll get into this ACC schedule in a little bit, Mac. There can't be any tougher league in the country to go through, with seemingly half the top 25 hanging out in the ACC right now. Ian McIntyre with us, Syracuse men's soccer head coach. One familiar name is Nicholas Kalukian. He was your leading scorer last year. He is back. What kind of stabilizing force can he be for you as you figure things out early in this season?
Yeah, he was the one player that played and started for us last year. So a lot of new faces around him, and he came into camp very fit and hungry, and leading by example both on the field as well as off the field. And he's done well, and I still think his best soccer is ahead of him here at Syracuse. But he's had a couple of really big performances. I thought he was outstanding against a really strong strong Charlotte team, terrific in our ACC opener against Boston College. And so some important goals, but I think there's some big goals in big games for him as we come down in this next important part of our season.
How tough is the ACC this year, Mac? I mean, I know it's tough every year, but I think 7 top 25 teams right now, 3 in the top 10. Stanford's down in the league to add it.
You add Stanford, SMU, and Cal, and you've made a really tough conference even stronger. I think we've got a good group. We're a young group, but we were picked 10th out of 15 teams. And I think that's probably about right. There's teams that were picked lower. NC State started really well. Boston College is a tough team, and that's not even talking about those the Clemsons and the Stanfords. Pitt's been terrific. So all 15 teams. I'm sure I'm not the only coach. When you look at these games, you're going, my goodness, every single ACC point. That's not every win. That's every point is so hard to come by, and you're in a real battle every night just to have a chance of winning valuable ACC points.
How hard is that, through the course of the season? Because there is no soft landing spot, as you say. There is not a breather when you get into conference play to be able to, I guess, accept as a team, right? Like, if you get a draw, that's like a solid result, right? That's not an opportunity missed when you're going through the season.
You saw in the opening weekend as well, with a number of teams going on the road and getting wins against big teams. Stanford went to Clemson and upset the national champion. You saw Pitt go to SMU. We came away from the Boston College game, but it was a great response after our tough Lemoyne game. We started the game really well. At the end of the game, coming away from a point, we needed Thomas Hutt to pull out a couple of saves late. I thought we were really good, showed a real kind of grittiness and resilience. But you get back on the bus and you're thinking, making sure you're taking something away from these away games is a real advantage.
The Lemoyne game, obviously, that was a tough result. Conceded the PK early, had a bunch of chances, right, but none able to go in the net. What are games like that? Lemoyne, new to D1 last year, they're just 5 miles away or whatever it is. When they're coming at you with everything they got in an early season game like that.
It's a difficult loss, and so I know it was tough for our players, our fans, and our community. But look, there was a couple of winners that night. It wasn't us. It wasn't our Syracuse soccer team, but congratulations and credit to Lemoyne, their coaching staff and players, and Syracuse soccer, our community. What a fun night! 2,500 people. We had a pack. There was no room left in our stadium. It was a special soccer night, and so yes, difficult to take. But once again, for our community, I wish we were doing that, every week, and look forward to really kind of blowing this event, this game out. And it's, as I said, it's good for our community. It's good for soccer supporters to have 2 programs competing at that level. And it was a real special, fun soccer night. Apart from, I haven't slept since.
Yeah, obviously you would have preferred a different result, right? But, we've seen now various teams, right? Men's basketball will be opening their season with Lemoyne, and other teams are starting to play them more now. Is that something important to you every year as far as, like a Syracuse communal thing, because you saw the response you guys got this year?
Absolutely. I think it's a responsibility and I can only talk on from a soccer perspective, but as part of our community to have that kind of match and that intensity, but that just it was a special soccer night. And look, the argument is you certainly can put a lot on the line and you can have a lot to lose if you're our program. However, I do think that it's a responsibility for our wonderful Syracuse soccer community to be involved in that game. And it was not an early season non-conference game. That was a real intense, we'd call it a derby match. And I think that if you're a young soccer fan, fan or even old soccer fan, you want to be involved and be part of games like that. So I do think we have a responsibility, and hopefully Lemoyne and Callum and his terrific coaching staff feel the same way, that it will benefit our soccer community to be involved in games like that.
Yeah, really cool environment to see, as it so often is when you guys play at the soccer stadium, as you will be doing this Friday night. I want to ask you about Virginia Tech, but I need, Mac, I need your professional here soccer opinion of big picture soccer news that happened today that I don't know what to think about it. So I need you to tell me. The United States men's national team has a new coach. This has been long in the making. Is this the right guy? Mauricio, how do you say his name? Pochettino? Is this good? Is this good for America, Mac? Well, I need you to tell me how to feel about this thing.
Well, he's got a pretty coveted coaching background, coached big clubs at the real European top clubs, and so I do think it's good. It's a little bit of a surreal time that we've got an American coach in the Canadian team with some of our former players in Jesse Marsh, and we've got Pochettino coaching our team. But I do think it's an important hire for US soccer. Obviously, hosting a World Cup in 2 years, he's certainly got the profile. He's got some challenges as well right now, but I do think I'm excited to see how our US men's national team develops over the next couple of years. As I'm a big fan of the Canadian team as well. Obviously with the involvement of a couple of our players. So for both North American soccer, I think it's a really exciting next couple of years.
Hopefully Tayshaun Buchanan will be up and at him. He got hurt there recently before too long. Always great to see him out there with Canada. With the World Cup, Mac, being here in the United States and Canada, North America in 2 years, I think we saw back in '94 when the World Cup was here, it led to a soccer boom in America. What are you expecting here with this World Cup 2 years out? Obviously, soccer's standing has raised significantly since the last World Cup. But what do you think this World Cup in the States can do this time around?
It's a soccer carnival. It's a festival, and it's the build-up, the excitement that comes with hosting a World Cup. And I was a college student back in '94, and it was very different at that time. But trying to get tickets and going to games and the TV, it's wonderful for our sport. The same as when there's a Women's World Cup. Having the Olympics here in a few years' time, just having that sporting, there's no other event like in a World Cup. I know we have our fans of Olympics and Winter Olympics as well as the summer, but the world's game coming to your shores, and this one also being in Canada and Mexico, a real opportunity for us to continue the growth and introduce the game to there'll be a contagious energy and enthusiasm that will take over the States and North America. And to be part of that, how we all get tickets, I don't know yet. We're all going to be hitting up the same guys, but it will be a real fun to bring those to our shores.
Better connected than Mac. I'm sure that when it comes to finding some tickets for that in a couple of years. I mean, it just did so much the last time. I mean, that World Cup led directly to the MLS, and we can see where that is now. So we'll see what happens this time around. All right, lastly here with Ian McIntyre. It is Virginia Tech, ranked team in your stadium on Friday night. What's your expectations for this game with the Hokies?
The undefeated Coach Brizendine has a terrific Tech team this year. Has been building towards this season the last couple. And a lot of respect for Coach Brizendine and his group. This will be a fun one. I know, beautiful night. I know we'll have a big crowd. Our community loves ACC nights, as we all do. And we've got one under our belt for our new guys. Our first home game. We'll look to be brave and bold and take the game to a talented Virginia Tech team. They've got athleticism, size. We'll be a real challenge for us. But we're also, I think we can bring a lot to the game as well. And looking forward, 7:30 ACC Network, so it's a TV game as well. I think the SU Soccer Stadium will be rocking on Friday night.
Did my whole tease, Mac. I was going to say the time and the television and the place. You're a pro. You took care of it all. 7:30 Friday night, ACC Network, or better yet, head on out. Weather looks great at the SU Soccer Stadium this Friday. All right, Mac, always great to chat. I'm sure we'll catch up again before the end of the season, but good luck this week and going forward.
Thank you, Brian. Thanks for your time.